Welcome back to Sofa. So the title of this video is quite clickbaity, okay? I said I quit my job for YouTube. I didn't actually quit my job, but my job fired me. So here we are. You know what, you guys? It's my time, okay? I've been on YouTube for 11 years. Since I was 13 years old, I've been on YouTube. It is my time to make this my career. So this is it. This is my full-time career now. Please support me. Today I wanted to talk about my bad and toxic job experience, and hopefully I'm able to kind of help you tell whether you should quit your job or not. Just a disclaimer, don't quit your job if you got no money, okay? Or if you don't have another job lined up, okay? Let's just be smart about this, okay? Let's be real, we need money, okay? And I don't need anybody going into the comment section right now and being like, oh my god, money, it's so useless. It's not, okay? You need it for basic survival, okay? Let's not quit jobs unless we have money to quit the jobs, okay? Also take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. I'm just some random 5'3" blonde girl on YouTube. This was my first time getting fired from a job, okay? And I never really thought that I'd get fired, okay? But it happens to the best of us. But you guys, the way that I got fired was just not the most respectful way, nor was it the most professional way. So I was left pretty baffled in this experience. Let me just get into it. When I turned 17, I started working in the restaurant industry. And then when I turned 18, I graduated high school and I went to college, okay? And I felt like I needed to go to college because everybody was going to college and this just seemed like this is something that I should be doing. So I went to college. I was there for about a year. And then one day I was sitting in class and I got this intuitive hit, and it was a question in my head. And the question was, why am I here? And this is just not the best question to receive when you're paying someone thousands of dollars to be somewhere. So obviously I was like, okay, this is not my thing. I didn't go to college with a plan. I didn't go to college with a purpose. I was just kind of there to be there, and I was spending my own money. I took out a loan. I was like, this is just not worth it. So I dropped out of college. So I decided that I'm just going to live my life and work and figure out what I like and what I don't like. And if I feel like I want to go back to school at one point to get any sort of degree or certification, I absolutely can, or I can start my own business, whatever I wanted. And so I've worked in a couple different restaurants since that time, but there was one particular brand that I really enjoyed working for. So I worked there for a few years, and then I moved to a different state, and I worked in that state for the same brand for a year, and then I moved back to Illinois, okay? And I moved to a completely different location, so it was a completely different restaurant. There's something about the restaurant industry that I really enjoy, and I really think it's the social aspect of it. Like the fact that you get to meet so many people, talk to so many people throughout the day, and just make easy money, okay? Now, as much as I say that I hate people, because when you work in a social environment, you're bound to come to a point where you're like, I fucking hate everybody, every single human. As much as I say that, I also really love socializing at the same time, and it's just super fun. The amount of connections that you can make in a restaurant is insane, and I've made so many friends over the years, and I know so many people. And so when I moved back here, I was super excited to start at this new location, and I was like, oh my god, this is something new. I'll meet new people, new management, new everything. It'll be great. It'll be fun. And literally on my first shift, okay, on my first day at this job, already coworkers are coming up to me telling me that they're not happy, they're not making money, they wish they were someone else, and they're suggesting that I go somewhere else and that I'm not gonna make money here. And this put a really bad taste in my mouth. I'm like, oh my god, why is everybody so negative? Why does everybody have a stick up their ass? And immediately I just knew that there was a problem in this building. I worked there for 3 days, and I intuitively knew that I did not belong there. And it wasn't necessarily a logical thing, but I just felt it, I was like, this is not my place. I don't belong here. I don't fit in here. I need to go somewhere else. To be honest, the vibes were off, you guys. The way that other employees were and the energy in that building was just not it. And so I approached my manager. I was like, hey, I want to go somewhere else. Can you transfer me to a different location? And I was very honest with him, but at the same time, I was extremely respectful about the way that I said it. And he was like, well, I just lost a few people. Give it more time. I'll give you the best section, the best hours, all the blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I'll give it more time. I gave it a couple more weeks. And during those couple of weeks, this is what I noticed. First of all, this is how you know that you should quit your job, okay? I would wake up in the morning and be like, oh my god, I have to go to work in 6 hours. And it's not a cutesy, fun little oh my god, I just don't want to go to work today. No, this was a literal, I would fall into a pit of depression because I needed to go to work in a few hours. I have never experienced something like this before, where I am dreading it so hardcore that I'm like, oh my god, I wish they could call me off. Oh my god, I wish I didn't work there. I was literally just just drowning in misery. And also during this time, I realized that I'm complaining to my therapist more than any motherfucker should. And all the things that I'm saying about my job are negative. And all I'm really complaining about most of the time is my job. Now, you guys, my job is a really big part of my identity, and it takes up about 90% of my life. So of course, if I hate my job, if I'm dreading my job, I am also dreading the other 10%. I am dreading the outside of my job life, okay? I hate my life. And so that's when I knew, I was like, I gotta go, because this is not good for me. This is not healthy for me. My depression and my anxiety is on the rise, literally. So I approached my manager again, and I was like, hey, so when can I get transferred? And he's like, well, not right now, because holidays are coming up, but after holidays. And you guys, I was just so bummed out. I was so bummed out because I was like, if I had known that you would have said no now, I would have just transferred right away, right? Like, I wouldn't have given you more time, but I did that because I'm a kind person, and I thought like, oh, maybe I'll get assimilated, but I did not get assimilated. I was really depressed, like I said, so I was just really bummed out to hear this answer from him. But also from a managerial point of view, I understood that like, okay, holidays are coming up, it's gonna be busy, he needs people that know what they're doing, they don't have to be retrained or anything like that, blah blah blah. So I was like, all right. And so for the next 2 months, I just put my head down and worked. And I know 2 months doesn't sound like a long time, but let me tell you, I hated this job so much that 2 months felt like an entire fucking year at this place. I swear to God, 2 months was too long. This was terrible. This was so awful. I'm not gonna get into the nitty gritty details, but the best way that I could describe the management at that place is, imagine the whole house is on fire and your manager comes up to you and says, why are there dirty dishes in the sink? And you're like, bro, the house is on fire. And they're like, no, but the dishes in the sink. That is an analogy for this place that I found to be so accurate that actually my coworker came up with this analogy. And I was like, this is the perfect way to describe the management at this bitch. Like, it's crazy. I have never worked for management that was so bad. During this time, I have had a couple of bad interactions with management. And when I tried to have a logical, respectful conversation with my manager about how he made me feel and how what he said was kind of uncalled for, he basically said to me, oh, well, yeah, I said what I said. And he basically gaslit me. And you guys, I'm not even the one. I'm not even the bitch to throw around the term gaslit, okay? Because I think it's so overused. People throw that term around like it means nothing. Same with the word narcissist, by the way. So many people are like, oh man, he's such a narcissist. Those words lose all meaning because people overuse that. I'm not even the one to use those words. And I literally felt gaslit for the first time in my life. I'm like, oh my God, like I brought an issue up to my manager and he made me feel crazy. Like he made me feel like I'm the problem. Like that is insane to me. Even other coworkers who knew about the situation between me and my manager were like, what the fuck? Like that's pretty fucked up. I like to think I'm a pretty reasonable person. So for someone to gaslight me like that is crazy. It's actually wild. With more and more time, I did not like the management there and the management did not like me. So it was a mutual dislikement. And it actually came to the point where none of the managers would really talk to me and I wouldn't talk to any of the managers. No hi, no bye, no nothing. It was the most awkward vibe in the entire world. I was doing it because I was told that I would get transferred. During this time, I also noticed some more negative things happening in my life. This job was not only making me bitter at the job, this job was also making me bitter outside of the job. Like I literally remember going into the gym and I was just rude to this lady. And then I was like, whoa, hold on. That's not me because I'm a happy, bubbly, sarcastic, fun, goofy person. Like that's who I am. And then all of a sudden now I'm a bitch. Now I'm so bitter. I knew there was a problem and I was like, oh my God, like I can't let this affect my outside life like this. I also started to drink a lot of alcohol after every single shift I had. I would cry and I would drink. And usually that only happens when something external is really bothering me. So at this point in time, I was like, I just gotta go. I just gotta wait till after holidays and I'm gonna go. So then the holidays were over and my manager cut my hours by about 80%. He only scheduled me for 1 day out of the entire week. And when he was asked why, he's like, well, since you're so unhappy here, either find a new job or I'll transfer you. And I was like, okay, bet. So I reached out to all these managers and bosses that I know and I was trying to get transferred into a different location. But the thing is, you guys, if you guys don't know, in January, it's a really hard time to get hired in the restaurant, right? Because there's no more business, okay? Everybody just spent their money for Christmas, New Year's, all the blah, blah, holiday parties. Nobody has money anymore. So usually in January, it really slows down in the restaurant industry because less people are going out, more people are trying to save their money, and it's just hard to get a job period. And so obviously I was having a harder time getting transferred because other locations are like, well, we don't really need you right now. Like, we're so overstaffed. And the thing is, my manager knew this, right? My manager has been in this industry for such a long time. And so he knew that in January, nobody is going to want me in a different restaurant. So in a way, this feels like a setup. This feels like I was set up for failure. Nonetheless, I was trying really hard to get transferred. So on Saturday, so like literally a week ago, I worked all day, okay? All the managers were there. None of them said anything to me about that being my last shift there. I had no idea. The next day, I tried to check my schedule and I couldn't access my schedule anymore. And when the restaurant was contacted, they said, yeah, we terminated you. That's just how we do things here. Guys, my first time getting fired. My very first time getting fired. And I don't even know why I got fired. I literally didn't even think that that was like legal. Like, I literally did not think that that was legal, that you could just like fire someone just like that, like for no reason. But apparently it is. Like, I had to Google this shit. I was like, is this even like okay? And basically it is. Like, yeah, any employer can basically fire you for whatever reason. They don't even have to tell you. But considering that I worked for the company for 4 years, I found it to be so fracking disrespectful and unprofessional with the way that they let me go. You guys, I've seen way worse situations. I've seen people do some fucked up shit, and even then they get a conversation from management. But I didn't even get a conversation. There was no sit down. There was no conversation leading up to this. Literally on Saturday, I was there all day. No one said anything to me about that being my last shift. I didn't even know. In fact, they were like, oh my God, we heard your birthday's coming up this Monday. Oh my God. And then literally the night before my birthday, they terminate my ass. That's pretty fucked up shit if you ask me. To be honest, I don't even want to know the reason for termination, because whatever reason he wrote down is a bunch of fucking bullshit. It's bullshit. He literally terminated me because he didn't like me. Now, I'm not a manager, but if I was one and I saw that my employee was struggling and not having a good time and is unhappy, I would, one, either have a conversation, like a private one-on-one conversation with this employee and be like, what's going on? And two, if this employee really wanted to leave the location, I would arrange it for them, okay? Because I think that's what a good manager should do. A good manager would try to let you go to a place where you could thrive. Because here, I was getting stomped on left and right. So I guess this video is just like a little mini rant for my subscribers and anybody who's watching. But the main point is to never ever work for somebody who doesn't give a shit about you. Because with this job, I truly felt like if I died tomorrow or if I was hospitalized tomorrow for whatever reason, they would not give a flying fuck. They wouldn't even bat an eye. They wouldn't even give me a call. And I didn't realize how lucky I've gotten in the past to work for management who actually cared. Witnessed how management reacts when somebody dies. I've witnessed how management reacts when somebody gets hospitalized. I've worked for some pretty damn good managers who actually cared. And so never work for a manager or for a boss who doesn't give a shit about you. If you know you have the skills, if you know you're valuable, if you know you have a lot to offer, work for a company that's going to value you, okay? Don't let any manager use you and then throw you out like I was thrown out to the streets. Always value yourself and put yourself first, and don't let any manager or any person ruin your life. Because to be honest, you guys, to get fired, especially the way that I was fired, it's a huge bruise to my ego. It's like somebody took like a huge fist and just punched the shit out of my ego. It hurts. I spent so much time working for this company. I love this company. I basically grew up in this company, okay? This company raised me to be who I am. And one motherfucker was able to ruin it all for me. If you guys have made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. I really value your support. Please give this video a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it, and comment down below. Let me know what videos you guys want me to make. I love making content for you. I'm so excited about this. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.